Hi, CAT 25 results are out, and I know many of you are hoping or expecting a call from IIM Ahmedabad. And let me tell you that I was one of the fortunates of CAT 24 to receive a call from IIM Ahmedabad, and I understand the feeling. I mean it's IIM Ahmedabad after all, so I know you are very excited. So I would like to make your journey a little easier, and for that purpose I'm making this video. So let's just get started. The first things first, so IIM Ahmedabad calls will be out by second week of January, and the interviews start rolling from second week of February. So that gives you less than 1 month to prepare for IIM Ahmedabad interviews. And if not planned well, that is a very short duration. So you need to start preparing for your GDPI and VAT rounds uh, from now itself, right? It's high time you stop celebrating your CAT scores. So a brief intro about myself: that last year I gave many interviews. I received every call from Ahmedabad to Amritsar. So I have given a lot of interviews, but I'll make a separate video on what kinds of questions are asked in an IIM interview, how to justify gap years, because I'm myself a gap year candidate and a non-engineer. But for this video, let's just keep the focus on IIM Ahmedabad PGP interview, not FABM interview. But having said that, IIM Ahmedabad PGP and FABM interview are conducted on the same day and simultaneously. So more or less, the experience, what to expect on the day of the interview, will be same. Right. So let's get started. So my interview was scheduled on 9th of February at Radisson Blue International, Mumbai. Uh, Now, my reporting time was 1 p.m., but I arrived at the venue at 10 a.m. itself. So, one more thing I would like to tell you here, that you can arrive early and you can straight away go to the waiting room where refreshments are available. In my case, it was tea, coffee, two types of cookies, and sandwiches. So, yeah, I mean, you can expect refreshments if you are going for an IIM Ahmedabad interview. One more thing here is that many students who are coming from out of station, they can change at the venue. I mean, the washrooms are quite spacious and clean. I'm not speaking particularly for Radisson Blue International, but any place where IIM Ahmedabad interviews are being conducted, you can generally assume that the places are spacious and clean. So many students, they changed at the venue itself, so you can do that. That's what I wanted to tell here. And the second thing, that you can arrive early if you are coming from out of station, and you can bring someone. I mean, if your parents are accompanying you or your friends, then they can wait in the waiting hall. Also, one more thing here is that, so when you enter, you don't try to directly head into the conference room or the room where students are already sitting if you're on the second slot or third slot, because those students are the one who are in the process of their VAT, PI, and all that. So if you're entering that, you'll be thrown out, and that could be embarrassing, and it could derail your mood, right? I mean, we are here for the interview. Even small things matter, right? So that's all about the refreshments, and you can sit in the waiting hall. I mean, there is just a conference hall or another conference hall where students are waiting for their slots. So when it's your reporting time, you head to the main conference room along with your documents. You can carry a bag. Of course, everyone will carry a bag. They'll give you a not plain, A4 sheet of paper where you have to write your name and PGP or FABM, whatever you are there for, and the list of supporting documents that you have brought. Now, there are two things here. One, either your document verifications happen before the AWT, analytical writing test, or it could happen afterwards. Now, I was quite early to arrive. I mean, I was one of the first to enter the conference room during my slot. So I was given the sheet of paper. I filled all the necessary details, and I got my documents verified, right? And one more thing here, if you do not have any particular document in place, please do not panic, right? They will just tell you that before the final results are declared or within 7 to 10 days of the interview, you can mail them the copy, right? The original copy, and you write the mail that once if I get selected, um, I will submit the original document to the institution, right? So no need to panic and no need to derail your mood, right? Just because you have a document missing, IMA is very considerate about that, right? Now I don't know which documents they are considerate about, but I knew there was a candidate. He had some non-creamy layer certificate related issue or some similar certificate, if the name is correct, right? And it went pretty well. He was actually sitting beside me. Now they wait for some 15 to 20 minutes, and once they see that the students are here, then they start giving out instructions, right? What will happen? First instruction that we got, that was to switch off our phones and keep in the bag, right? And the second was to remove your watches, even if they are what's the word, normal watches or digital watches. We were asked to remove them. I think we were not even allowed to carry a pen, right? The same instruction were given for the interview. You're not supposed to carry anything in the interview panel room, right? Wherever your interview is being conducted. Now we were, I think, 6 or 7 students. We were accompanied by 2 professors who later were the same ones who conducted the interview, right? So they took us to the floor above the conference room, into a hotel room, right? It's Radisson International, of course. So in one of the rooms, and now the scene here was 2 professors, 6 or 7 students. There was a table at the center, and we stood around it. Right, there was a piece of paper, A4 size paper, in front of us, each one of us. Right, you're not supposed to touch the paper unless you're told to do so. Right? It is basic courtesy, or they will notice it, and it's going to cost you marks. Right, I'm telling you once again, don't do anything that you are not asked to do, right? It's very important because even very minute detail will certainly cost you marks there. Even while filling the application form, this is a very minute detail, but let me share this. They specifically ask you not to fill any district level or state level certificates, right? You will soon notice that when the calls are out. But don't fill that. If they're asking for national certificates or some particular type of certificates, don't try to show in, right? है तो दे देते हैं, no. It's IMA, they will not take it lightly. Now here, so we were told to sit down. Then after some time, instructions were given that what will happen. What will happen here is that on that particular page, you are supposed to just write your name and your CAD registration number, and on the same page houses your VAT topic, AWT topic, right? And now in my case, the topic was pros and cons of networking, right? And you're supposed to write one full page views, your own views, on the back side, which is blank, right? You get roughly 10 to 15 minutes to write your views, which are, I think, more than sufficient. Now I'm sure uh, uh, you must be taking some coaching or some guidance from someone for your AWT and VAT. But if not, if you need any help, I will upload another video. Just let me know. Uh, not just for IIM Ahmedabad, but for any other IIMs. If you need any help, just let me know in the comment section. Right. So that was VAT. Now, what happens is the first candidate in your line is the first to be interviewed, right? So when AWT is over, the rest of the candidates return to the conference hall for their document verification. The first candidate stays there. The second candidate waits outside the hotel room, right? So it's your courtesy that when your interview is over, you inform the next candidate that he's next. I think that was pretty much about AWT. I was fourth in the panel, right? So when the third candidate went in, I was waiting outside. Now here one thing that I observed was, or what happened is, when the candidate comes out, you don't just go inside. You don't go inside, right? The panel takes brief 2-3 minutes to discuss about the candidate, and one of the interviewer, he comes out and he tells you that come inside whenever you are ready. Now, why I told you that this could be the norm in the at the place where you are interviewing, right? Or maybe there could be something similar arrangement in place. So be careful, right? Ask someone else or just wait for a minute, right? Uh, the next aspect is, of course, the interview. So when I entered, there were two professors. Now, the general introduction, introduce yourself. Now, when I was introducing myself, I was abruptly stopped. And he asked me, Yash, you have mentioned something about mistakes of the past in your application. So, can you tell us something about mistake of the past that has happened in history which has altered the course, the future course? So, the first example that came to my mind was world history. Wherein Soviet Union was attacked by Hitler. So I told, and he said, "What was the mistake?" I said, "He attacked Soviet Russia is the mistake." So they asked, "What was the outcome?" I said, "Hitler lost the war because he channelized his resources towards Soviet Union. Instead, if he had focused on Europe itself, then he would have won over United Kingdom." And that was my reply. Okay, not satisfied, but okay. Then he said, tell one mistake that has happened in India, which during British rule, that has altered the political landscape of the time. So I gave 2-3 answers, but they were not happy with that. And then I came up with subsidiary alliance, and he said, yes, that's the answer I was looking for. Then they asked, then the question, then this the mood or the tilt of the interview was towards my personal life. They said, the question that was asked to me next was, why do you have so low score in your 12th? I told. Then they asked, what was your optional during your UPSC preparation days? I told what was my optional, and then some of the questions that were asked were based on my optional. Now, the question, of course, the generic question, why MBA, or is it because you're not able to clear UPSC? Some generic questions based on my gap years. The questions related to gap years that I was asked was, why didn't you pursue a degree after your graduation? I told them that I was preparing for civil services, and I did not find it feasible to continue with a full time degree. One more question that was asked was, why do you have three subjects in your graduation year? I said, sir, that is the norm in tier 2 or tier 3 cities. We don't study honors level one specific subject for 3 years. We study three subjects for 3 years, right? One more question that was asked, uh, the generic questions, right? Where are you from? And how did you come here? So, where did you stay? Right? The last question I was asked was, do you have any questions for us? So I asked them that, sir, IIM Kozhikode has around 50% gender parity in their admissions, but the same is not visible in IIM Ahmedabad. IIM Ahmedabad's admissions. So do you have what do you think are reasons for the same? The reply I received was something like, no idea about that. We are teachers. We have no control over admissions. So I greeted them. They gave me a chocolate. And they said, have one. I took the chocolate and I went downstairs. So yeah, that was the day of interview. And I must say I quite enjoyed a lot. One more thing I would like to add here is that when someone is coming out of the interview, don't straight away go and ask him how was the interview or how did it go unless he or she is your friend. Because let me tell you on the basis of what I have observed on the day. No, it's very difficult panel. They were grilling and I was asked very sophisticated questions. So no, I mean, most of them are lying, right? Most of them are trying to derail your interview. They are trying to um, they're trying to make sure that you make mistake or you panic during your interviews, and I hope you understand, right? So don't trust everything you hear from the fellow aspirants on that day. No one is your friend. I know it is very wrong to say that, but it is what it is, and this is what I have observed. So yeah, best of luck for your interview, and I really hope you convert. Just uh, just give your best, and well, let's see what happens. Thank you.